Hey guys, Scripted here with another video, and this is Empire's top 50 greatest Star Wars characters of all time. And you guys are in for a doozy today.
Hold on to your butts.
Now, the Empire's team's most passionate nerf herders, moof milkers, and all-around rebel scum have gathered to rank the 50 greatest characters in Star Wars, voting for faces across every canonical era of the saga, from the OT to the sequels and beyond, including the movies, streaming series, and animated shows. Note, characters outside of TV and film were not included here, hence no Cal Kestis, no... Okay, so no video games. Those votes were then totted up, and final orders were fiercely debated before being put through C-3PO's hardware, and you can read the full ranking below. And guys, I hope you're ready, because there's some stuff that I think you're going to find very unappealing about this list of the top 50 characters of Star Wars. So number 50, Asajj Ventress. I don't think anyone really would have a problem with that. I'm sure most people could think of quite a few people they would put on a list ahead of her. I don't know a whole lot about the arc where she's not Sith or whatever, like where she's got the blonde hair. I don't know anything about that. What's that, from Tales of the Jedi or something? No clue. Whatever. They put Neil in the top 50. And I think it's the only Skeleton Crew character they put in the top 50. I don't know how he's in the top 50. I don't know what he did to get in the top 50. I know people, oh, he's cute, I guess. Okay, so K2SO. So you're going to see characters further down this list that you were going to say, why would they be ahead of K2SO? Because K2SO, once again, was one of the tolerable and kind of cool things about sort of the Gilroy Star Wars. Like in Rogue One, K2SO was a pretty cool droid. I think most people would agree with that. I have issues with that movie, but I really like that character, so okay, whatever, 40, okay. So Holdo is ahead of K2SO. Admiral Holdo. Ask yourself, do you put Vice Admiral Holdo in your top 50? I definitely do not. And then Ackbar's 46th. And again, as we go through this, you're going to see a whole bunch of people that you're going to go, why was Admiral Ackbar below them? Or why was K2SO below them? I definitely think Admiral Ackbar should be probably in the top 30, but that's just me. Babu Frick, I don't know. He doesn't really, like, K's small and he's kind of whatever. He fixes stuff. I don't know. He's a plot device. Captain Rex, again, this is for the Clone Wars people. Where would you put him? I don't know. I didn't watch much Clone Wars, so you tell me. I know a lot of people really like this character, so maybe that's where he should be. I don't know. Kanan Jarrus, same thing. What's he, Rebels? No idea. Grand Admiral Thrawn at 42, and I think some of my EU fans would probably debate having him that high up, or excuse me, that low. They'd probably want him higher. I know he's pretty beloved, at least in terms of the books, not necessarily not what was done with him in Rebels, but certainly the books, and definitely not what was done with him in Ahsoka. Grievous at 41, I mean, that's fine, whatever. I was never a huge fan of Grievous. I didn't like this whole idea of, 50 million lightsabers. I feel like the prequels were just there was just a lot of lightsabers, just in general. It was a little overdone, in my opinion, but whatever. Rose Tico! Rose Tico's ahead of Admiral Ackbar, bro. Rose Tico is ahead of Admiral Ackbar. What? Why? Because she went to Canto Bight and then did nothing? Might as well not have even been in Rise of Skywalker? Okay, cool, yay. It's not how we're going to win. Not fighting what we hate. Saving what we love. Remember when she ruined Finn's, grand finale? When we were all kind of like, oh, this Finn character turned out to be kind of crappy, and then he was going to sacrifice himself for the Resistance, and then she ruined it. And I don't even know how that even worked, because he was going on a beeline straight towards this thing, and then she showed up from the side, and she was behind him. So how did she, fly all the way around and then be able to hit him on a 90-degree angle in the same amount of time it took him to go from point A to point B straight? That's basic math. You can't... Moff Gideon He was kind of cool in Mando season 1, and then just by the time he got to the end of season 3, he sucked. I didn't even care. Whatever. Moff Gideon clones, blah, blah, blah. I don't think he should be in the top 50. Ezra Bridger, again, that's for people that like Rebels. I don't know. I don't really care. Baylan. I mean, Baylan was kind of cool, I guess. He was like one of the more tolerable characters. I was saying in my last video, like him and Shin were like the tolerable characters of Ahsoka season 1. I still think putting him that high up, though, is maybe a little bit silly. But just wait, guys. It's going to just wait. Okay, Mace Windu, 36. It's fine. Some people might have him higher up than that, but that's whatever. Cyril is ahead of K2SO. He's ahead of Mace Windu. He's ahead of Admiral Akbar. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Overbearing mother, trying to overcome that. Yeah, I just... Not in my opinion, no. I don't even think she should be on this list. Qui-Gon Jinn at 34. To me, he's a top 20 for sure. Call me crazy, guys. Let me know in the comments section. But 34 seems way too low for him. And this is where it gets stupid. Soul is ahead of Qui-Gon Jinn. And I'm somebody who criticizes the prequels, but the idea that you're going to put this idiot from The Acolyte, who somehow felt guilty for doing something he didn't even do. He did nothing wrong. We saw the scene. Anastasia turns into a fart, and it freaked him out. She didn't warn him or anything, and she looked like she was, like, possessing the little girl. I don't know whether it was Osha or May. I think it was May. And then he stabbed the fart she turned into that was going into her, and then she died, and then he felt some sort of guilt for that. It's like, no, you did nothing wrong. She's an idiot. She should have told you she was going to, she didn't even say anything. She had made the decision they were going to let him go with May, like with the girls to train or whatever. And instead of telling them that, she turned into a fart. Some demon-looking fart. Like, what are you doing? Just say what's happening so these guys know what's going on. Anyway, no. 33. Are you kidding me? Ahead of some of those other characters? Kino Loy, I mean, I kind of liked him too, but I don't see how in overall Star Wars you put him in 32. I know a lot of Andor fans would disagree with me, but I mean, Chopper, again, like, what's with all these Rebels characters, man? Like, I guess people like him and stuff, but it's like, I don't know. Dave Filoni plays him, so he makes the sounds. He makes the blah, blah, blah.
Can't just shoot it down. It would crash into the port city. Just ready a tracking device.
Is that true, guys? Is that what he did? He went into the booth and, like, made noises instead of just using beeping sounds and stuff. Deidre, again, a kind of an interesting character in Andor. There was a few interesting characters, but top 30? Top 30? Oh, no. The Stranger's ahead of Qui-Gon Jinn and Mace Windu. The Stranger is ahead of Qui-Gon Jinn and Mace Windu. Okay. Sure. And Akbar and some others. Okay. Padme, I would actually have her further up the list, like lower down in terms of numbers. She'd probably be in my top 15, but okay. Let's see who's ahead of her. Tarkin, okay, fair enough. Boba Fett, okay, fair enough. Jabba, fair enough. I think we can all kind of live with that. Although I would put Padme ahead of all three of them, quite frankly. Finn, see, this is where... So Finn's like 4 or 5 slots ahead of Padme. He's ahead of Boba Fett, he's ahead of Jabba, he's ahead of Tarkin. And what was his character? What did he do? What was so compelling that made you put him in the top 25? That he yelled Rey all the time?
Rey! Where's Rey? Rey! I'm just here to get Rey. I'll go in and try to find Rey. Rey! Rey! Where's Rey? How's Rey gonna find us now? Save Rey. Rey! 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 Rey, come on. Rey! 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 It's Rey. Rey!
Rey! It's just, what is he doing here? He was a completely wasted character. He didn't do anything. He just ran around yelling Rey and wondering where Rey was. Like, there's literally compilation videos on YouTube of, like, he's not just yelling Rey. He's constantly just obsessed with what's going on with Rey. That's his entire character. He does literally nothing. C-3PO, okay. Why would Poe be ahead of C-3PO? Why would Poe be ahead of C-3PO? No offense to Poe. I actually didn't hate Poe's character. up until The Rise of Skywalker when they explained his background and it was really dumb. I actually didn't mind him until that point. He was one of the few people I didn't mind. I didn't like, obviously, light skipping. Anything in The Rise of Skywalker was horrible, but his character wasn't bad. I mean, he was just sort of your regular cocky fighter pilot. I didn't mind him at all. And I liked the fact that he didn't just bow down to Holdo, and he actually, like, stuck to his guns. So he's a little bit Han ripoff, but I don't mind Poe, actually. I wouldn't put him at 22, but I would probably put him on this list, maybe. Mon Mothma, no. I mean, all the things she did in Andor and pimping her daughter out for money and then saying a speech so that 5 minutes later she could say the same speech again on another ship from Rebels. I like the EU version where she's much more stealthy and still works with people within the Senate rather than just cutting everything off with this speech. You know, where she's still behind the scenes. She still has access. It's not wise to do what she did, which accomplished little to nothing, and then goes to their main base anyway, which is already there. She could have done that and then went back and forth and still had access to the Senate and senators and still been able to do things, but of course she didn't because she was too yappy and dumb. Putting her ahead of Padme to me is ridiculous. Putting her ahead of C-3PO or even Akbar, any of those guys to me is ridiculous. I know people like the Andor show, but I think it's ridiculous. And you know, people will tell me, oh well, but her speech was necessary to get all the cells. What cells? What cells? Like groups of a handful of people? The main base was on Yavin. That was the base, and she didn't need to expose herself. That was very, very silly. It's one of the things I don't like about Andor. Would have preferred for her to hang around and again have that access so she could accomplish something, instead of then being forced to just go to Yavin and that's it. That's where you are now. So then the rebellion literally has no access to what's going on in the capital. I think that's pretty dumb, but whatever. Darth Maul number 20, okay. I don't like Darth Maul being ahead of C-3PO. I don't like Darth Maul being ahead of Qui-Gon Jinn or Mace Windu, but I can live with it because Darth Maul is pretty cool and pretty badass, so whatever. It's fine. BB-8 is ahead of all those guys. That's ridiculous. No. I mean, BB-8 would have been lovable if he wasn't basically just R2's replacement. And, like, he replaced him. Like, it wasn't like they involved R2 in a bunch of stuff and then he was there. He was his replacement. R2's entire sequel trilogy was having the map of the galaxy that then BB-8 finished. That was R2's entire story. Great. So he just fully replaced him. So no, that's way... I don't think I'd have him on this list. I don't think I would. Again, I can't put Ahsoka ahead of Qui-Gon and Windu and all these guys, but I know a lot of people like her, so I actually expected her to be way higher on this list based on the fact that this is kind of like a Disney shill list / Rebels love / I'm actually surprised she's not higher, so whatever. I don't like it, but I can live with it. Lando, okay, that's fine. All right. Okay, number 17, Lando, that's all right. Oh, no, you got Din ahead of, like, all these iconic guys from George's movies. Like, come on. Really? Really? The guy who became a babysitter and second fiddle in his own show to Bo-Katan, I don't see how you can have him ahead of, again, Windu's and Qui-Gon's and all these guys. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Palpatine at 15 is kind of mind-blowing, especially with the prequels and just watching him maneuver and manipulate. In my opinion, he's in the top 5. Has to be. Not with the sequels. That just poops on it. But, I mean, the master manipulation that went on and just watching him build his empire was pretty rad. And so, to me, 15, I mean, I'm curious to see who's ahead of him on this list. And, of course... the plot device, the little baby who somehow is like the most powerful Force user of all time and is literally just there to stick his hand out at the end of every episode or the end of every season to save everybody, and otherwise just pukes and eats and can hardly walk and gargles and does weird jumps that look really cringy. 14 for Grogu. Wow, this is brutal. To have him ahead of some of the other guys is nuts. You guys let me know in the comment section. Anakin at 13. Really? He's got to be like top 6 at worst, wouldn't he? 13. Who's ahead of Anakin? R2, okay, fair enough. I can live with that. Okay. But there's still 11 names to go here. So, oh. Okay, guys, like literally. Okay, I'm not trying to be like an Obi like Andor, but bro, you put Andor ahead of Anakin on this list? Why? Why? He, helped lead some robberies? Is this a joke? He's ahead of Anakin. Is that a joke? Seriously, like, are you kidding me? Like, in terms of even if you look at it in the overall story, like, Anakin's role is like the importance of Anakin's role compared to Cassian Andor's role is not even in the same hemisphere. Cassian Andor was essentially, even at the beginning, he was hesitant and Luthen wasn't sure. He's basically just like a fighter guy. He's like a rebel fighter guy who's struggling with becoming a leader. Anakin's literally like the basis of entire massive plot points in the movies all the way through. He's still technically, even though the sequels suck, he's still technically heavily impacting the sequels in that, although how poorly they did it, Kylo Ren is obsessed with him and stuff like that and impacting how he makes decisions. I mean, Andor's like a cool rebel fighter that just does some stuff, and that's neat. And as far as the Death Star plans, I mean, he's a part of that. But Jyn Erso is the one that essentially gets the job done. I mean, he helps, but 11th. Wow. That's wild. Now, on the one hand, at least she's 10th on this list and not like in the top few, which I expected. I genuinely thought with how this was going that she was going to be like number 3 or something, or even number 1. But to have her ahead of Anakin, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, that's not ahead of Anakin, I don't think, but I can live with that, I guess. Chewie ahead of Obi-Wan. Interesting. Okay. I mean, I love me some Chewie. That one's a debatable for me as well in terms of just how they're ordered, but okay. Oh. Really? You got Kylo Ren ahead of Obi-Wan Kenobi? And Chewie? Really? Chewie's in every movie. He's in all 9 films. Obi-Wan's in 6 of them. Like, prominently in 3 of them, and then his role is pretty substantial even in the original trilogy. For sure. He's, in the original, he's what starts Luke's journey. He's the master that helps him. Kylo Ren was like a pouty, unsure, whiny simp for Rey. This is such a stupid list. Oh no. You got Luthen ahead of like the most iconic characters in Star Wars. I know people really like Luthen. I don't like this morally corrupted rebellion. I think it sucks. That's why I compare it to Game of Thrones, because everyone's morally ambiguous. And I like that Star Wars was good versus evil. That's how George made it. There's good guys and bad guys. And Anakin was the big player that fell and went from good to bad. Having this Luthen guy making all these compromises and murdering some of his own men and doing all this stuff was not appealing to me. I know he's appealing to some of you guys, but do you really think he should be ahead of people like Obi-Wan Kenobi on this list and Anakin Skywalker? Like, really? He's that impactful? Really? Yoda. Okay, Yoda number 5. I would have Yoda in my top 5. Leia, yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. 100%. Luke at 3. Okay. Again, I can live with that. Darth Vader at 2. Okay. So who's number 1 then? Okay. I think I love Han Solo, and I'm not even mad that they put him at number 1, honestly. But he shouldn't be at number 1. I mean, OT Han could be right up there, don't get me wrong, but he shouldn't be ahead of Vader. Vader's impact, he actually, if you're looking at George's 6 films, he probably shouldn't be ahead of Anakin, he shouldn't be ahead of Luke, he shouldn't be ahead of Leia, I don't think. You could argue it, I guess. Should he be ahead of Lando, Boba Fett? Yeah, he should be in the top, like he's one of the main characters, the main cast. So I have no problem with him being ahead of C-3PO, R2. My problem is these guys. What is Luthen Rael doing ahead of R2, C-3PO? What is Kylo doing ahead of those guys and all the other people? This list is atrocious. It's atrocious. It's bad. Like, this is terrible. This is what happens when you include all of Disney's nonsense. I can't believe they put some of these people higher up than others. This is crazy to me. What a weird list. What a weird list, eh? Finn ahead of Qui-Gon and all these guys. Finn ahead of Padme. Oh, think of all those people that were ahead of Padme on this list. Luthen Rael is 6th and Padme's 28th. Andor is, 11th? And she's 28th? Really? That's insane. She's like one of the founders of the rebellion. It's one of the things I really wish George would have put in some of those deleted scenes. Her and Bale and Mon and a couple other people were the founders of the rebellion. And no offense to Cassian Andor, but she was rebelling while he was still on his mom. He wasn't even born yet, was he? I don't know. I guess maybe he was born, but he was on the teat when she was forming the rebellion. So, no offense, Cassian, but the fact that you're 11th and she's 28th is insanity. I can't believe this list is nuts. This list sucks. Master Soul, are you kidding me? And then this guy's ahead of Mace Windu. Like, Rose Tico is ahead of Thrawn. How do you guys feel, EU? Hey, EU fans. Oh my gosh. Thrawn Trilogy fans, how do you feel about Thrawn being further back than Rose Tico? This is like so dumb. And Akbar's way back. All those characters are ahead of him. Rose Tico. Oh boy, this is bad. I can't believe how bad this is. What's he even doing on there? Well, there you go, guys. That was a laughably bad list. I don't know what planet some of these people are living on with their lists. I don't get it, but it was funny to look at. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. It always helps the channel. Feel free to check out anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.